Inflation doesn't hurt everyone equally. That's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Every time prices rise, the headlines scream panic. The cost of living crisis, soaring rents, expensive groceries, shrinking savings. Most people feel anxious. Some feel angry. Some feel ashamed, like they've done something wrong. But somewhere else, at the exact same moment, someone is calm. They're not panicking. They're not worried. In fact, they're quietly benefiting. Not because they're evil, not because they planned it, but because inflation works differently depending on where you stand. And if you don't understand how inflation really works, you'll keep losing money without ever knowing why. Stay with me, because once you see this clearly, you won't look at money the same way again. Here's the promise of this video. By the end, you'll understand why inflation keeps pushing the middle class backward, why asset owners seem to float upward no matter what happens, and why hard work alone doesn't protect you from a system you don't understand. Let's start very simple. Inflation means your money buys less than it used to. That's it. Same salary, same savings, higher prices. Milk costs more. Rent goes up. Fuel gets expensive. Insurance renewals hurt. But here's the part most people miss. Inflation is not just about prices going up. Inflation is a transfer of wealth. Quiet, slow, legal, and extremely effective. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually. So gradually that most people don't notice until years have passed and they feel behind. And the direction of that transfer matters. To understand this, imagine two people, same age, same city, same year. They finish school, they start adult life. One person works a job and saves cash. They follow the rules. They're responsible. They don't take risks. The other person also works, but instead of holding cash, they own assets, property, shares, a small business, something that produces value. At first, both seem fine. Then inflation hits. Prices rise. Something strange happens. The saver feels poorer. The owner feels richer. Not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. Why? Because wages move slowly, assets don't. If you earn a salary, your income is fixed. Your employer doesn't automatically increase your pay just because inflation goes up. Raises take time, sometimes years. Sometimes they never come. But if you own assets, inflation pushes their value up automatically. Property prices rise, stocks adjust, businesses raise prices. Ownership reacts fast, labor reacts late. This is the first rule of inflation. If your income comes from time and effort, inflation works against you. If your income comes from ownership, inflation works for you. Think of it like this. Wages are a staircase. Assets are an escalator. Both go upward, but one requires constant effort. The other carries you. Most people are climbing the stairs, sweating, getting tired, while a smaller group stands on the escalator calmly moving higher. This is where the middle class starts feeling stuck. They work harder, they save more, they budget carefully, and yet they fall behind. Now let's talk about saving money, because this is where good advice becomes dangerous. You've been told since childhood, save your money, don't waste, be responsible. So you save cash, but inflation punishes cash. If inflation is 6% and your savings earn 1%, you didn't grow, you lost. Not visibly, not emotionally, but mathematically. Your money buys less every year. You didn't fail. The system did what it always does. Meanwhile, asset prices inflated faster than your savings ever could. This is why people who do everything right often feel like they're moving backward. Now here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Debt. Most people are terrified of debt, and that fear makes sense. Debt feels risky. Debt feels stressful. Debt feels dangerous. But inflation changes what debt actually means. Let's explain this in the simplest possible way. You borrow money today, you pay it back later. If inflation happens in between, the money you repay is worth less than the money you borrowed. Same number, less purchasing power. Inflation eats debt. This is not theory, this is math. And now ask yourself this: who uses debt the most? Not the poor, not the middle class, the wealthy. But here's the key difference. They don't use debt to survive. They use debt to acquire assets, property, shares, a small business, something that produces value. When inflation hits, two things happen at the same time. Their assets increase in value, their debt shrinks in real terms. They win on both sides. Now compare that to the average person. Most middle-class debt looks very different. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, emergency borrowing. That debt doesn't produce income. It doesn't grow. It doesn't inflate upward. So inflation doesn't help. It squeezes harder. Same debt, higher prices, more stress. This isn't about intelligence. It's about structure. Now zoom out. Look at businesses. When inflation rises, companies raise prices. That's how they survive. If you own the company, profits rise with prices. If you work for the company, your salary might adjust, eventually. Owners benefit immediately. Workers wait. Sometimes forever. This is why profit margins matter more than paychecks in an inflationary world. Now zoom out again. Governments. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Governments don't hate inflation. Inflation reduces government debt the same way it reduces personal debt. Debt stays fixed, currency weakens. This is why inflation is tolerated, sometimes even encouraged. It keeps debt manageable. It keeps systems running. But the cost is paid by savers, workers, and anyone holding cash. This brings us to the turning point. Inflation isn't broken. It's doing exactly what the system allows it to do. It rewards ownership. It punishes stillness. If your wealth depends on time, labor, and fixed income, inflation slowly drains you. If your wealth is tied to assets, inflation lifts you. This is why rich people don't panic during inflation. They reposition. They don't ask, how do I survive higher prices? They ask, what inflates faster now? That single question changes everything. Now, pause here. This is not about becoming rich overnight. It's not about copying billionaires. It's not about reckless risk. It's about understanding the current you're swimming in. You don't beat inflation by saving harder. You beat it by changing what you save into. Because cash is not neutral, it's melting. And effort alone doesn't protect you if the rules reward something else. This is the emotional realization most people never reach. You didn't fail. You weren't lazy. You weren't stupid. You were playing a game designed for a different strategy. Once you understand this, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself. You stop feeling ashamed. You start thinking strategically. You stop asking, how do I work harder? And you start asking, how do I position myself better? Inflation will continue. It always has. The question isn't whether inflation exists. The question is where you stand when it does. Are you holding cash or are you holding assets? Are you climbing the stairs or standing on the escalator? You don't need to be rich today. You just need to stop standing still while the system moves around you, because inflation doesn't wait. It doesn't care about effort. It doesn't reward discipline alone. It rewards ownership. And once you understand that, you stop being confused by money and start seeing it clearly. If this changed how you see inflation, you're not alone. And if you want more clear, honest explanations about how the financial world actually works, subscribe, because understanding money is the first step to escaping the losing side of it. Thanks for watching our video. Please like and subscribe our channel for more informative videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon.